Change hit in the air to deep right field. Back goes Clemente. And the thing. He's done. Get out of here, baseball. It's gone. Oh, my God. Can you believe it? Johnny Bench is tying it up.
The Cincinnati Reds win the World Series in 4 straight. It was a sweep.
In the dirt. It's a wild pitch. Here comes Foster. The Reds win the pennant.
Perkins won the game.
That ball is fair. Cincinnati's ahead. 2 games to none.
Welcome Joe Aranda to Cincinnati. Adam Dunn has done it again.
Benzinger backing and calling. And the 1990 World Championship belongs to the Cincinnati Reds.
Marty, yes. This is Adam from Milwaukee. Hey, Adam, how you doing? I'm good. How are you? Good. Do you think Scott Hatteberg is a good player?
Dunn up there with the bases loaded, the outfield deep and around toward right, and the 1-0 on the way to the plate. Swung on, long drive, right field, and this one belongs to the Reds.
And a high drive, hit back into deep right field. Junior has just knocked the door down to the 500 club.
Benson's first home run is a walk-off winner. That ball had a family.
And De La Cruz is, oh my goodness, look at this kid run. My, oh my, that is a triple.
Matt McClain's first big league bomb.
Spencer Steer's first big league hit is a home run to straightaway center field. Joey Votto's done it again.
The pitch. Votto swings high in the air. Right field. Yes! He pointed to the dugout to say, I told you. That is Joey Votto's 315th career go-ahead ribby. Only Johnny Bench had more as a Red.
And I can't tell you how much it means to play in front of everyone here in Cincinnati as a Red. What a gift. What a tremendous gift. So thank you. Thank you.
I think I can speak for all of Reds country. Joey Votto, thank you.
High drive. Left center field. Racing back to the Laurent Bourgeois. The Reds are National League Central Division champions. In the air, left center field. Did he? Did he? He did! He did! Red win! Win! Liner to right field. Genius, the first Red ever with 4 home runs in a game. Can you believe it? In the air, down the right field line. Does it have a chance? The Reds have won on a 3-run home run on opening day by Ramon Hernandez. A strike away and out away is Homer Bailey. Ground ball to third. Frazier gloves. Throw to first, and Homer Bailey, for the second time in his major league career, has tossed a no-hitter. Oh, gosh. Are you kidding me? Holy Moses, the second player in major league history to hit 7 home runs in the first 10 games. In the air, and the Reds win. What a dream beginning to a career of Jay Bruce.
All right, Nick. You can only really pray for times like this. I know for a fact, a matter of a fact, it was about 11:47 in the middle of the night. We ended a show, and I think I looked at you and I said, Nick, this is going to get pretty dark pretty fast if they can't find a way to win a few games and at least keep some people somewhat entertained. I know that sounds like a far stretch on a night like tonight, but I got to remind people that we're not that far removed from really being 3 or 4 games in a row of losing to being completely out of it, selling everything, and sitting here on a nightly basis talking about 2026. That's how fine the margins seem like they are right now. And I got to tell you, if you prayed, whatever you did to get us to this point in Reds baseball, thank you. Maybe you hit the like button. Maybe you just went off to your own solace space and said a few words to whoever you say words to. But this whole new baseball team that we've found ourselves watching is a breath of fresh air. And it's not even that they won to today. Okay, I know people are probably like, oh, I'm telling you, for the past few weeks, we have seen a different baseball team. And it started with a collection of people. This isn't just like, Reese Hines, a la a couple years ago, comes up for a week and just carries everybody. Will Benson at the beginning of his career, or Austin Hayes at the beginning of this year. This has collectively been a group of players that has risen up and helped this team become a baseball team that I'm not going to go there yet, but dare I say good. Dare I say good, Nick. Welcome in. It's been a minute since I've been on this show, so thanks for everybody that's helped fill in, and also obviously the folks that do the weekends, but I'm glad to be back. And I had a blast watching the Reds on vacation. I know people are like, oh, you're on vacation. I just sat there and enjoyed the game, knew I didn't have to worry about saying anything afterwards. That was actually kind of nice and refreshing, I might add.
Yeah, that's kind of how it was on Friday night. Good to have you back, Trace. Yeah, it felt like kind of, watching the game today, I was like, man, the Reds are going to lose 2 out of 3, and it felt like they were the better team all weekend. And maybe just right now, the Padres, they're missing a few guys, but I feel like the Reds were the better team, and it was just nice to see them be able to get over that hump late. Got a big week coming up. I mean, these are 6 of the toughest road games you could play in Boston and Philadelphia. But you get through this, I mean, yeah, I think you really could start believing in this team, and this team might have some real staying power here.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously we'll get into this show as to what we think, not what we think, but kind of maybe the glaring differences that have happened. And I think that it's something to keep a keen eye on for the next, call it week or two, to see if the progression continues to happen. We do have an announcement to make. I don't know if we're doing it at the end of the show, the beginning of the show. You obviously can decide on that, Nick. But yeah, Nick, you know what, Nick? I'm going to let you make this announcement because you've been working behind the scenes pretty avidly about this. And you know what? I'm glad that we've kind of come to this conclusion of a partnership. And I'm looking forward to. I can't say I'm looking forward to it because I'm not a huge soccer guy. But you know what? Maybe I'll convert. Maybe I'll start to work on that part of it.
Yeah, I figured 330 people watching on a Sunday night was a good time to bring this up. But yeah, we are really excited. The Flying Lion. We have officially an FC Cincinnati podcast. Sam and Ryan, they've been doing that show for a while. They're going to be joining us here on Chatterbox Sports. They're going to do a weekly show, and then they're also going to do some short recap episodes of each. I think you call it match, Trace. I've learned a little bit over the last couple of weeks in terms of some soccer or football terminology. So I think it's match recap, but they're going to have like 10-minute episodes. They're not going to be live. They'll just be put up on our channel. But their first official episode will drop on Tuesday morning on our channel. I'm really looking forward to Sam and Ryan. If you are a FC Cincinnati person, I think you're really going to enjoy them. So be sure to check that out. And that's also available everywhere you get podcasts. If you had listened to them before, same podcast feed and all that. They're just joining us here on the YouTube side here on Chatterbox Sports.
All right. Well, I don't want to say I have a lot to say. I think that there are a lot of things to talk about. Obviously, I've been gone all week, so there's things that have happened that I've not really weighed in on. Not that I need to, per se, on one show, but I think it's probably appropriate just to do the box score recap here really quickly, get into the show itself, unless you have something to add before you want to go there.
Do you want to knock out some super chats so
we
don't really get
let's do that
here? Because they're
Let's
flying
do that.
in.
Let's do that. Let's do supers. Instead of get ahead of myself here. Glenn Sharansky, and there's some numbers after it that YouTube won't show me. Been a Reds fan for 31 years in New York. Finally made it out to GABP. What a weekend to come down. For the first time and witness the epic walk-off. Check your pulses, baby. ATOBTTR. If you came down from New York to Great American Ballpark for this weekend, you oughta just bought a lottery ticket on the way out of town, just in case. You might have to make a ride back to Ohio in case you hit the Powerball. I'll tell you, I envied. I mean, when I tell you I envied, and I know people are going to make fun of this. I had a great vacation. I wouldn't trade it for the world, but I will tell you, boy, I was sitting down there on a beach where millions of people would love to be. And when CES ripped that ball down the left field line and they're waving Trevino home and Trevino slides safe, I was like, I would pay any amount of money. Well, I thought it was me. Hold on. We'll redo the whole thing. I think we're back. Hold on. We'll redo the whole thing. I think we're back. We had an internet problem for a minute. Wow. I don't know. Maybe we need to check to see if we paid the bills around here. We're back, I think. We're back. Let's do it again.
We got a few.
I'll do it again. I'll do it. I'll do this all night if I have to. I don't give a damn. You think that the internet's going to stop me from getting excited about the Cincinnati Reds? You're wrong. But what I was saying is there were millions of people that would love to be where I was at. I know that. I am well aware of it. Some would say, oh, you got to be kidding me. You're telling me you'd rather swap places with somebody when you're sitting on a beautiful beach? Well, let me tell you, when CES, try this again, ripped that ball down the line, and they were waving Trevino home, and boy, did it feel like it took forever for Trevino to get there. But he got there. When he slid in safe, I'm telling you, you want to talk about FOMO, fear of missing out? I was there. I wish I could do anything to be in the moon deck, the bleachers, the outer view, standing room only. I don't give a damn where you put me in the ballpark. I wish I was there. So shout out to coming from New York to witness something like that. Jacob Doyle. Welcome back, Trace. Thank you. I am very thankful to be back. Daniel Myers, member, leader of men, by the way, for 17 months, said, don't let the Reds get hot.
Don't let them.
Don't let them. Noah Downing, and some numbers behind it. I think after today, Reds should buy at the trade deadline. Yeah, I mean, listen, if they don't buy, yeah, they're going to have some extra security down there at the ballpark, I think. Kackerman, why is YouTube like not showing the full names of my guys here? What are we doing? I mean, what are we doing? I might have to like change. I'm trying to figure out if I can change the view of this. Hold on, pop out chat. Let's try that. I got to give these people like actual. That doesn't work either. What a joke. All right, sorry. Noah Downing, thank you for the super chat, and they will be buyers. Kackerman, I think that's the name. You've been on here enough for me to probably know, but YouTube's cutting off names tonight. They let the Redlegs get hot. Playoff baseball returns this October. Oh, my gosh. We've gone there. I'm not scared to say it. Go Reds. Michael, by the way, all I see, I know I've said this 5 times already, but nothing. I mean, I am fighting the fight right now. I feel like I'm reading a teleprompter that's going in and out and going in and out and going in and out. His name's got to be Michael. But all I see is M-I-C-H-A. So, Michael D., you retracted your message. I don't know what you said, but you can say it again in the chat. Looks like he did say it later in the chat. He said, headed to Fenway Park tomorrow. That's a pretty good place to go to, especially when the Reds are there. Tuesday for both games. Tomorrow and Tuesday for both games. Going to be fun. Back up to Michael Roth. By the way, did YouTube did they put a bunch of numbers behind people's names now? Now that I don't. Well, what the hell has happened since I left? Today was an $100. Roth. Ethan with a 50 bomb. These people are crazy. $150 between 2 super chats. Rolf coming in hot. I mean, that's so red hot. The damn thing's so hot, it's red on the super chat. Today was an enormous win. R.I.P. Dave Parker. He will be missed. ATOBTTR. And I heard a rumor that the Flying Lion dudes, Sam and Ryan, want to get paid. So here we are. Listen, Sam and Ryan, I mean, Michael Roth, he's a good guy. Ethan Falkerson with a bomb of a super chat as well. Los Rojos got me jacked up, and I'm the 4th of July around the corner. I can't even read these super chats right. I'm so fired up. It says, and with the 4th of July around the corner, I'm feeling patriotic. Love the hat trace. So like a B-2 bomber. I got to start reading these right now. You got to be careful. Got to be careful. So like a BT bomber in the middle of the night, I'll drop this $50 bomb. I'm not laughing. I'm not laughing at the political post. I'm just laughing at the fact that I'm like Ron Burgundy right now trying to read these super chats. Appreciate you fellas and all the work that you put in. Michael Davis, I just said that already earlier. He's the one that obviously had the $10 earlier with the retracted message. Bryce says, I went to the ball yard. I said in my video, I said ball yard like 20 times. No one called me out on it. Went to the ball yard and watched the Willie B masterclass. Great game. But I was sweating badly, fellas. It was hot down there. A little humid is in the 513. Trevino's OPS equals 806, Ned Flanders chimes in. It's getting late. He said it is getting late. He ain't wrong. It's getting late. We are fastly approaching July. And my man Trevino, I'm not going to go there, but he's still staying around. Jacob Doyle then chimes in before we start the show, says extra super chat for Trey's coming back, ready to go. Thank you. Oh, I am rested, well recovered, and I feel great. I mean, I do. I feel great. I've never felt better, to be honest with you. There's a lot of things that are going right in my life. Sometimes it's going so damn well, I'm looking around waiting for something to happen. Waiting for that flat tire to come around the corner. You know what I'm saying? It's like things are going too well. Where's the check engine light, and when do I get the flat tire? All right. I'm ready to do a show. Hopefully I can remember half the things I was prepared for before I went through those super chats. I mean, they're the best. This is the best. You guys are the best, man. What a show. What a show. And I'm not even talking about us. This is the chat, the camaraderie, the fan base, the nut cutters, the whole thing. And I'm working. Yeah, let me tell you something. I'm working on a plan for Off the Bench, okay? I see some loyal OGs in here. We're working on it, okay? If we're going to bring it back, we're going to do it well. That's the plan. What's the line? I don't know the line. Something along the lines that if you're going to do it, you got to do it right. All right. Box score recap. Boy, this is going to be a show. 20 minutes in, haven't even got to the first topic.
All right, Reds taking on the Padres. Rubber game of a 3-game series at Great American Ballpark. Nick Lodolo against Stephen Kolek. No score going into the 4th inning. Xander Bogaerts led off with a solo home run off Lodolo to put the Friars up 1-0. Kolek cruised through the first 5 innings. Reds only had 1 hit. A Spencer Steer single hit just 68 miles per hour. But Lodolo then got into some trouble in the 6th when he gave up 2 weak singles. And after a sac bunt, left the game with runners on 2nd and 3rd. But Scott Barlow came in. He got a weak fly out and a weak pop up to get out of the jam. Keep the score 1-0. We move to the bottom of the 6th. Will Benson led off with a single, and then with 2 outs, Matt McLean singled to get Kolek out of the game. The Padres then went with a lefty, and Elly De La Cruz singled home a run to tie the game at 1. In the top of the 7th, Terry Francona went to Leon Richardson against the heart of the Padres order. Leon ended up giving up a run, and the Padres took a 2-1 lead. In the bottom of the 8th, Will Benson had a leadoff double, but the Reds stranded him. And then the combo of Santillan, Rogers, and Pagan got the Reds to the 9th, but the game still 2-1. Reds going up against Padres closer and 2024 All-Star Robert Suarez. Elly De La Cruz led off with a 10-pitch at-bat that resulted in a single. Originally scored an error, but later corrected. After Austin Hayes flew out, Gavin Lux walked, and then Spencer Steer singled up the middle. Elly scored to tie the game at 2. Jose Trevino then singled to load the bases, and then Will Benson smoked a ball to right field for a walk-off single. Reds win 3-2. Reds now 44-40 on the season.
All right, we got a deep drive of the day, and yeah, it didn't go out of the yard. It didn't go out of the yard, but you knew damn well what Nick was going to pick. There was no doubt about it. As soon as that ball came off the bat, Nick got really excited. And that's saying a lot for a guy that's got 4 kids. DSC, they are a leader in renewable commodities for biofuel production, specializing in used cooking oil collection, aggregation, and sales. Visit www.deepsouthcommodities.com for more information. And you know what? Came off the bat of Will Benson. His double, sharp line drive to Fernando Tatis Jr. Didn't even try to catch it. Can you believe it? 109.9 off the bat, 347 feet. That would give the Reds, what? That's the one we're going to go with because of the exit velocity. That's what you fooled me. You fooled me.
It was the longest and the hardest.
Gotta say it. You fooled me. I thought you were going to go with the double down the line, which wasn't a double because it was a single because the game was over, but who's counting anyways? 109.9 off the bat. That would be a leadoff double, and guess what? We didn't score him, and at that point I was starting to think, goodness gracious, we're going to do this again. But shout out to DSC for the deep drive of the day. Win probability was who gives a rat's tail. The win probability is 100% by the end of the game. People want Fireball. I had Fireball ready to go, okay? I had it ready to go. I was waiting for it. I was waiting for everybody to say, fire me up. Fire me up. We're going to go do a show. But before we do the show, this is for all of you and everybody else that isn't watching either that's going to watch this later, okay? Much love.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. All right. Proper. Really proper. Yeah. That's called igniting the night, I think is what they try to call it. Rally Reds. All right, let's do a show. Let's serious baseball. This was probably the biggest concern at the beginning of the year, in my opinion. It felt like this was a team that when things weren't going right, they had no way of finding any kind of heartbeat after what felt like the fifth inning. And I get it. Baseball is a long season. Probably more times than not, the statistical anomalies will go away. It'll fade into the sunset, and you'll end up, rounding things out. What do they always say? I'm sure I'll get a DM about how we always use cliches. Water finding its level. I don't know if it's as much of that, Nick, as it is, and this is my opinion. I think we're a better baseball team. I think we have players that believe in themselves a little bit more than we had at the beginning of the year. I'm not trying to get into the whole nuances of who's out there and who's doing what. I just think that this younger group of players are perhaps naive to the whole notion that when you get down late in games, you're supposed to just lose. And I know that, I know how good the closer was today. I get that. But it just felt like, it felt like as soon as Elly had that amazing at-bat, it kind of started to build a belief that this is possible. And it couples onto the backs of offensive play that have been consistent for at least a couple weeks now. That has not been the case. I don't care what anyone says. That has not been the case at the beginning of the year. The offense wasn't very consistent. There wasn't enough players on the team, in my opinion, or in the lineup, I should say, that I felt confident enough to come up late in the game and find a way to get a job done. And that has, to me, been the biggest difference over the past week and a half, 2 weeks, is that this lineup feels like it's extended now. This lineup also feels like, at least if nothing else, there's a lottery ticket every so often in the lineup to where you're like, you know what, maybe you'll accidentally run into a ball. CES, I know he's probably not lived up to exactly what we want him to be, but I might remind you, like, he would have been a storyline too. He hit a baseball well, did his job, got the guy to third base. Unfortunately, TJ Friedl didn't get him in. But if TJ Friedl hits a sacrifice fly, broken bat, flare that gets over the shortstop's head because he's drawn in, we'd be giving CES credit. My point in saying all this is that it's starting to feel like we're passing the baton. And that's what good teams do. I'm not going to say great team. We're not a great team yet, but that's what good teams do. And it feels like we're starting to do that more often, Nick, is just passing the baton to the next guy, and they do their job. The ninth inning was the most beautiful, epic event of that possible. And we can get into all of that in the ninth inning here in just a second. But from a Rally Reds perspective, it feels different because I think it is different. And the personnel is different, and the belief system in the clubhouse and the lineup is different. Maybe I'm wrong.
Incredible stat from Matt Wilkes. The Reds had no walk-off wins in their first 31 home games of the season, now with 3 in their last 12. And Trace, the walk-off today started yesterday in the 9th inning. Reds made Robert Suarez throw 22 pitches yesterday. Didn't score, but they had 2 walks. Friedl drew a walk. Elly drew a walk. They made him throw some pitches. A lot of the same guys got to see him twice as well. And, we've talked about that before. Well, hey, that could be a moral victory for tomorrow. It's nice to actually see the moral victory come to fruition. But yeah, that at bat by Elly De La Cruz. 10 pitches, kind of got screwed on a ball that, not screwed, but a ball that just went foul. That just set up the whole inning. And then, just some really good at bats. And it's nice to see this coming around. And I'll give Terry Francona credit. A lot of people really kind of, dumped on him when he kept saying, well, it's just baseball. Why we're not coming back, because it felt like a David Bell quote. But I don't have a problem with it. It is baseball. Like, sometimes this just happens. Sometimes it doesn't. And right now it's going the Reds' way. And it's good to see it. It's refreshing. It's nice to see them just, they beat some really good teams the last couple weeks. I definitely give you some confidence here going forward.
They beat some good teams because I think they're playing like a good team. Now, I'm hesitant to say they're a good team yet because of what I've seen all year long. And I'll tell you right now that if you give me this brand of baseball that we've seen over, like I said, over the last week and a half, 2 weeks, I really, I'm not trying to go over the deep end here, but I see a pathway to not only make the postseason, but to make some noise. I really do. The question now becomes, what does this team need? Is it realistic to kind of go and get those needs? And, where do we feel like, if anything, that there's a weak link in the armor? We could talk about that later in the show. But I'll jump back in the 9th inning here real quick. Yes, Elly gets on. And that, to me, was kind of the straw that stirred the drink. I'm not suggesting that anyone else that came up didn't have a major part in what happened, because they did. It was not disappointing, but I found it interesting. I guess that's the right word to use. That Elly didn't take off at any moment, at any point. It wasn't one pitch that he took off before there was the 4-pitch walk, obviously, to Gavin Lux. Hayes, if I remember right, comes up. In fact, I don't know if you remember, but Hayes actually didn't even have a strike thrown to him in that at bat. So all 3 balls were out of the zone. Elly gets on base, and I've said this before, and I'll say it again until I'm blue in the face, until people actually appreciate it. He affects what happens when he gets on base that are things that are outside of ever even seeing in a box score. Like, you could say whatever you want, but if he gets Elly De La Cruz out, I have news for you. There's 2 outs in the inning. He's probably not wild. He's probably not worried about the guys trying to steal second base, which is obviously the tying run. The whole inning changes. Elly had some amazing takes as well. Amazing takes. And that kid, if he's able to start taking what I would call quality pitches that might look and appear like they're strikes and then they fall out of the zone, or balls that are maybe called an inch off the plate, if he's able to start taking those pitches, and oh, by the way, as much as we give umpires kind of like, as much as we give umpires hell for when they don't do their job well, that guy was nails in the 9th inning. That guy was nails. I don't know his name. I should probably looked it up. But he did not flinch, because there was multiple balls that he could have rung Elly De La Cruz up on that were, fractionally outside the zone, and he didn't call them. And I would just say that was a major moment in the game. Elly gets on first base. More importantly, though, he doesn't throw a strike for 7 straight pitches after Elly gets on. He walks Gavin Lux, right? And Spencer Steer is the X factor the last week and a half, 2 weeks. He is the difference. Maybe not just him. Matt McClain's a part of that. But listen, I am happily going to say, if I'm wrong about Spencer Steer in regards to him being quality enough to play at first base in this league, I'm glad to be wrong about it. But my point in saying this the whole entire time in the show in the season is, this team has to get production at that position. We have to get it. And Spencer Steer has provided that this month. He has provided that. And that is, in my opinion, the whole heart difference between this team playing at an average to below average level and to what I think can be an above average to a great level to get to the postseason. And Spencer Steer put forth a quality at bat. Obviously got the line drive to center field. Elly De La Cruz, the only guy in the world that can score. And I will say something. I was a little, and again, I say a little because I don't want to put too much pressure on this. I was a little disappointed in Gavin Lux because I felt like, in my opinion, Nick, he should have known that there was going to be a play at the plate. I mean, they're going to try to throw out Elly in that spot. He kind of got scared to try to take off for third base because he was worried about obviously getting thrown out, and I get why, because he would have been the winning run at second base in that spot. But I was hopeful that he could have gotten to third with less than 2 outs, give us a really good chance to score. But Trevino comes up, he gets a massive hit, and I know I'm talking for a long time, but I just want to go through all the quality things that happened this inning. J.R. House did an amazing job of holding him right there. He would have been out by a country mile, and it could have been easy to get caught up in the moment and try to send Gavin Lux right there, and he didn't. So J.R. House deserves some praise. And then obviously you get to a spot where the bases are loaded. Steer, big hit. Trevino, big hit. And Will Benson even said it himself. He probably let a changeup go the first pitch of the at-bat that he should have probably tried to swing at. But he laid off 2 good fastballs and then lined a changeup down the line, and the rest is history. But that, all along, was passing the baton in the 9th inning. And I know I've talked for what seems like 10 minutes, so I'm sorry. But a lot of amazing things happened in the 9th inning that we've not seen all year long. That's all.
John Libka, the home plate umpire behind the plate, felt like he definitely deserved a shout out. Good call out there by you. Oh, what was I going to say? I had it and I lost it.
Well, I mean, I did talk for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
I
got to start writing him down.
Right. Well, I won't talk as long anymore. I just thought the 9th inning.
Elly not stealing.
Yes.
Chris Welsh was all over it on the broadcast. Suarez is not allowed a stolen base all year. Elias Diaz behind the plate, very good at throwing out runners. So I don't think I assume they probably didn't give Elly the red light there, but I think they also want him to make sure he feels really good about it in that spot. Because that's the one thing Suarez is really good at. So, but yeah, he does still impact the game even when he does stand there. If there is a pitcher that's able to go quick to the plate and you got a good catcher behind the plate, he definitely felt like he was in the head against in Lux's at bat. And there's just so many different ways that he can just impact winning.
Yeah, I mean, he does do that all the time, and he doesn't get credit for it. In fact, by the way, I said this before, I'll say it again, the easiest job in the world is being a scorekeeper in the MLB. I mean, genuinely. I don't know, I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but the whole idea that they even considered Elly's ball, I know they changed it, but the idea that was an error from the start is laughable. That's laugh out loud funny. And then the ball that CES booted, no disrespect, but he did boot it. I want to save that a little bit for when we talk about Lyon, I'm assuming at some point. How that's not an error, I don't know. But I give up on the whole scorekeeping thing, but I just wanted to bring that up, that it was a joke. Now, to be clear, they did change it to a hit after the fact, so it was fixed. But,
They changed a lot. I swear, every time I log on Twitter, I don't even follow but people always retweet them. Every time I log on, this just changed from an error to a hit. It feels like it's happening every day across. I wonder if there was some sort of memo sent out, you need to be doing.
You need to fire the guy that's 77 years old that's been doing it for 40 years that they probably are too afraid to fire. That's what I'm thinking is happening. It's there's old, yeah. There's Rich. He's up there in the box. He's trying to keep up. He's like, oh, what was that, a hit? All right, a hit. And then they got somebody with some technology that comes in and is like, oh, yeah, based off StatCast, the spin rate was this, that, we're going to change it to an error. Whatever. I don't care. I just know that in the moment, we need to be a little bit better. I mean, there are times where you got to be like, I'm not sure, maybe so. What happens if that was like Nick Martinez, by the way, in the no-hitter, and you you give a guy an error, and they're like, oh, by the way, it was a hit after the game. They wouldn't do that, obviously.
Crazy that's never happened, right?
Yeah, because they won't do it, but it is a good point. I mean, they wouldn't do it, right, Nick? Let's be honest. If they would have called that an error in the game and someone got a no-hitter because of it, they would have not done anything with it. But we just need to be a little bit better.
That might have been CC Sabathia. I think your point is that I think CC Sabathia, there was a play that should have been an error, and they didn't overturn it because of that right there. They didn't want to go back on it, which is kind of wild. Right. Who cares? Just get it right.
Yeah, they need to do a better job in the moment, but it is what it is. So we move on. Not a big deal, really. At the end of the day, not a big deal. I just find it like I know people this isn't about me playing. I know this. If they would have called some of these errors, in my opinion, hits when I was playing, like, my God, what a beautiful world to be trying to play defense in. If every ball that has to hit right at you, if it's not hit right at you, it's not an error. It's like, okay. I mean, CES was an error. We'll talk about it later. All right, Benson, Steer, two of the biggest names, obviously, that come up probably in the ninth inning. Oddly enough, Benson got a massive hit that nobody was ever going to probably talk about with the leadoff double. Unfortunately, didn't get him in. It's nice to see Benson start to play well. Benson was starting to trend, Nick, in my opinion, closer to that, like, oh, here we go. I don't know how many more opportunities he's going to get if he continues to struggle because, it feels like already that Tito kind of has a little bit of a hesitation to give younger players a longer leash. It's nice to see him play well. Whether or not this continues, I don't know, but I do know this. You can say whatever you want about Will Benson, but the energy that he plays with, the infectious personality that he has, I think it rubs off on guys. I really do, and I think that it's a great thing. Obviously, he can't be a terrible player to be here. It's not a pizza party, but it is nice to see, and good for him, I guess is what I'll say.
Yeah, Benson leads the Reds in expected weighted on-base average. He's hit the ball really hard. He's running into some tough luck, and good to see him have a 3-hit day because, he was kind of trending that way. Now, Fraley getting hurt kind of probably helped save him a little bit for a while, but he was kind of trending that way where it would have been one of those moves where the Reds make that doesn't make the team better, but they would maybe make that move. And a really good weekend, really good several weeks for Spencer Steer. I really hope that the June Spencer Steer is the guy that's here to stay, because if he is, I mean, that's just a huge advantage because I didn't think that guy was coming back. And I'd love to be completely idiotic and wrong on that. But if he's anywhere close to where he's been this month, I mean, he's a really, really good player. And he's just had a monster weekend.
Yeah. I mean, Spencer Steer at this point, along with Matt McClain, are the two big X factors on this baseball team. I'll tell you right now, if Matt McClain and Spencer Steer play at the level that they've played at this month, this baseball team will make the postseason. They will. This baseball team will make the postseason, because I also think that it's not a fluke for the rest of the guys. Maybe you could get into Trevino. I get that. He's probably not going to keep up. But you also have Stevenson, who you'd like to think like Stevenson's going to be an average to above average hitter, regardless at that position. And I'll say this now. I definitely think that if they continue to play, what I would call even 500 ball the rest of the way until you get to that area where you're going to have to make a decision whether you're buying, selling, etc., they're going to go out and get some help. And I think that they'll get a relatively proven bat, if you want to call it that. And they're also going to have to get some bullpen help, which I'm sure we'll talk about in the back half. That's a necessity at this point. It's not even that is actually something they have to do. There's no, it'd be nice if they went out and got a bat. If they don't get bullpen help, this baseball team's probably going to be cooked, in my opinion, when you get towards the back end of September and October, if we're so lucky enough to have meaningful baseball then. All right. Anything else you want to do here before we jump into the back half of this show?
Nope.
All right, folks. You know what? When times are good, you still got to remember there's always a lifeline there if you need it. 988, you can text and or call day or night. It's an anonymous hotline. It's okay to not be okay. You can visit mantherapy.org, day or night, 24/7. It's got a plethora of things on there. Even if it's something as simple as, you're not getting great sleep. It's got some techniques, got some methods on there on what you can do to get some better sleep if you need some help with that. Excuse me. All right. Super chats. We got some more. They're just coming in hot. Jeremy Ward said 200 likes, Trace has to take a fireball shot, y'all. We're at 191. Big fan of RVA. Says ATOBTTR, fire emoji, fire emoji, fire emoji. DSC Commodities. That's in quotes, by the way, Nick. DSC, let me start it off right. Quote, DSC Commodities, end quote. What's the first C stand for? Nick, we miss Austin Wentz. Austin Wentz. Shout out to Austin Wentz. He's gonna get it. He's gonna get a ring too if we do something special. Austin Wentz will. What's the second?
I hope you get to hand deliver it.
Oh, I will. Trust me. I'll happily. In fact, I'll promise you this: if the Reds were to win a World Series,
oh no,
I'm just
saying he's hitting a $158 with Sacramento. Sorry,
he's not getting the right opportunities.
Oh
if
no,
we were to win the World Series, I will walk from Cincinnati to wherever he lives and hand it, deliver it to him. What's the second?
California
second C stand for? Where's the first C stand for? Do you have any idea? It stands for commodities. Do you say DSC Commodities? Do you do that?
I think I say Deep South Commodities.
Okay, whatever. I'm guessing that he's suggesting that the C is double if you say DSC Commodities, but it's DSC, Deep South Commodities. Shout out. All right. Daniel Meyer, fireball, fire emoji, fire emoji, fire emoji. Abinyaz Harris. I think that's right. LHP trades, left-handed pitching trades. Give me Caleb Ferguson and Aroldis Chapman. We'll see. We'll see. We'll take all the lefties we can get. We need them. We need them fast. This super chat almost got me, ain't gonna lie. The name says Pete, and it's a garden tool, if you can keep up with the program. Tonight is an Elly De La Cruz kind of night. Throw back some fireball for the red hot legs, baby. Woo! Thank you, Pete Garden Tool. Jeremy Ward says 200 likes. There it is. Take a shot. All right, I'll do that, and we're going to start a show up again, okay?
Caleb Ferguson's a really good name. Shout out Mr. Abinyaz Harris. That's a name I hadn't thought of, looking up his numbers now with Pittsburgh. He's been fantastic. You got a FIP under 3 to go along with his ERA under 3. That's a really good name. I mean, I'm not greedy on any of those guys, but yeah, I mean the bullpen is priority. It's bigger than a bat, in my opinion. You were right; they won't survive. And I've been trying to beat that drum, and I mean today they got through, but they walked 4 batters today, didn't strike anyone out. I mean, you're living good when you get through 3 2/3 innings with 4 walks and 0 strikeouts against the Padres.
Right. All right. Here's the 200 like shot. And Sean Kretko once also says, I'll do this after my shot. Says, Trace, you got to get your thoughts on the Candy era.
Oh, have you not been back since the DFA?
I can't believe they did that, by the way. It's crazy. Oh, gosh. They always get better every time. That one was tough. All right. Candelario. You know, somewhat torn on that, to be honest with you, because it felt like this baseball team's 26th man was not very good. Like, just not good at all. So, like, and when I say not good, like, they didn't have, like, a clear role that you were like, man, even though they're not really a great hitter, or maybe they're not a great fielder, they got extreme speed, or maybe they can't hit, don't have, but you could put him as a defensive replacement late. We didn't have those guys. We didn't really have that. We had just non-Major League Baseball players of the 26th man. So when you pay a guy that much money, and he has had a track record of some success in this league, like it or not. Now, I got to tell you, for the Reds, it looked like he should be playing in the CYBL. If you don't know what that means, that's a Cincinnati Adult Baseball League, the CABL. Look, that's what he looked like he should be playing in, not the MLB. But I got to tell you, it felt like that was probably the appropriate thing to do, which was, hey, he's going to sit on the bench. Maybe somebody gets hurt. Maybe he gets a day at DH every so often, and maybe he catches some fire, gets hot, earns a rollback on this team, and then you got Candy, one of the better guys in the lineup. But I got to tell you, when they cut him, and I know that people, this is speculation to be very clear. Very much speculative. I don't know anyone inside the building. I don't know Candelario. I don't know the situation. But I'm just reading the tea leaves here. I don't know if you remember, but Candelario was struggling earlier in the year. They went out to Colorado, right? And this was at a time where the team still didn't have anybody like extremely hot. They could have definitely put him in the lineup. It wasn't like you couldn't find a spot for him. And he did not play. He did not play. And ever since that point forward, he found a way to go on the IL. And when he went on the IL, he never was given a chance to come back. And I think Terry Francona, I'm not saying Terry Francona didn't like him personally. I just don't think Terry Francona thought he was a valuable asset at all. And I also thought that maybe the way that Candelario viewed sitting on the bench, maybe he felt like he was above that because he obviously, one, he got paid, yes, but maybe more importantly, he's had some success in this league. And he probably doesn't take a liking to the idea that you have guys, like it or not, that are have lesser of a career DHing when he could have DH'd. So the writing was somewhat on the wall, but it just seemed like this franchise was never going to make a move, in my opinion, Nick, to cut a guy when you paid him that much money. It's almost like, hey, he just sticks around because we can't cut bait with somebody that we have this much invested into. But it was a good sign, is where I'm going here. It was a good sign to see from maybe the front office, the staff, whatever you want to call it, even ownership. I'll even say that, even ownership, that they're willing to cut bait and just move on with their best foot forward, thinking they're going to try to put their best team out there regardless of who they've paid. That is a great sign, a phenomenal sign. And it's easier to swallow that pill now when you have some production coming from some players that you don't have to worry about, oh my gosh, look at Candelario, he got picked up for this team and he's actually playing relatively well, which I think is actually possible. But he just didn't have a fit here. Wasn't good enough. And sometimes things run its course. I'm glad they got rid of him to a certain extent. He was atrocious here. But I hopefully eloquently stated why it all just kind of was a little confusing, and I'm shocked they did it. I still kind of am shocked they did it, if we're being honest, Nick.
Yeah, I mean, if their comments that especially Kroll made are accurate, that he wasn't handling a bench role well, then yeah, I mean, you have to cut bait, which is honestly pretty disappointing. Like, I'm kind of sick of the I'm getting benched, I'm making a lot of money, not having a good attitude, guys, like Moustakas.
Yeah, those guys suck.
And like when we get to the next MLBPA, can we change the rules here that if you sign a guy and he's absolute trash, he can go sit his ass down in AAA and right. Rot down there for a while. Like, yeah, maybe there's some parameters to that. A guy can't go down there for more than a month or whatever. But if your Reds are paying Jeimer Candelario, they should be able to stash him down at AAA,
right. Or send him through waivers. Like, and if you pick him up, you have to pay the rest of his contract. Which
they did.
Well, I know, but I'm saying like, if you were to do that, then it gives you
you keep going through waivers or something.
Yeah, then it gives you the ability. That protects the player too, is what I'm getting at. It gives you the ability to put him in AAA.
Yeah,
but that's here.
Yeah, I just think that whole thing's, I never understood that aspect of it. Like, I get the whole veterans and stuff, but if you sign a big contract, I feel like that should be like part of it. Like,
right.
I don't know, just feels very backwards.
If they want to get paid the money that you're paying them, then they should, in my opinion.
Yeah, if they want to just say, I want to be a free agent, yeah, absolutely, but you're not getting paid.
Correct.
Maybe even a buyout or something. There should be something more there, in my opinion.
Whatever. We'll see. The next CBA is going to be a wild one, so buckle up.
That might not be the top of their priority.
No.
It might just be keeping baseball coming back.
That's going to get
10
nasty.
Years.
Yeah, that'll be nasty. All right. Moving on, because Candelario's gone. Thanks for coming. Not really, thanks. Nick Lodolo, I thought he went out there, he battled, did a great job. In a weird way, I also remember the stat they put up there, I think it was in the third inning, where he has not walked a 7, 8, or 9-hole hitter in the lineup all year long. Oddly enough, the very first batter after they bring that stat up, he did go 3-0, but he battled back, got the strikeout, moved on. How many walks did Lodolo have? You have that off the top of your... I can pull it up. I think I have the box score here.
2.
Yeah, so he had 2 walks, 5 strikeouts. Did give up 7 hits, though, which, oddly enough, worked around that pretty damn well.
Several cheap hits, though. I mean, there were several balls that were hit like under 70 miles an hour that were hits today.
Right. I'm just saying in general, though, like the idea that you were able to work around 7 hits and 2 walks over 5 1/3 innings and only give up 1 run. I mean, that's getting the job done. And Barlow did a great job as well. Like, it's crazy to think through, how well this staff as a whole has pitched all year long. I mean, just 2 runs, man. On a day where you felt like you needed to find a way to win to keep momentum, they went out and kept between Tatis and Machado. And again, I did not watch every single pitch all weekend. It felt like they kind of stayed out of the way there all weekend long, didn't they? I don't know what Machado did, and I don't remember Tatis hurting us too bad. Just did a good job of making sure that the guys that can't beat you did it.
Yeah, Xander Bogaerts and Gavin Sheets wouldn't have been the 2 guys at the top of my card this weekend. They were the ones who kind of wore out Reds pitching. Yeah, Lodolo's quietly having a great year. Maybe, almost the best year of his career, at least since his rookie season. I think we had high expectations of Lodolo. We should, but 2023 he had a 6 ERA, 2024 a 4.76 ERA, and now he's at 3.52. He's only 4 starts away from tying his career high that he set last year in starts. So, yeah, he's having a good year. It's just, I think, how dominant Andrew Abbott's been, how great Hunter Green has been when he's been healthy, and then maybe even to a lesser degree, Martinez and Singer just not being terrible has kind of made Lodolo maybe not feel as special. But if you put Lodolo out on the trade block right now, I think you'd find out how special he is. Because I think there'd be a lot of teams that would love to have a guy like that. And today, kind of a mixed bag, because in one respect, you could say, well, he didn't get to pitch. He could have pitched deeper if it would have been a 1-0 game. Francona would have let him, but Francona made the right move going to the pen there. But he also could have gave up the run. Barlow got him out of the jam. So it kind of could have gone either way. But yeah, Lodolo's quietly having a really good season. And, just knock on wood, the fact that he's just stayed healthy and taking the ball every 5th day. In a season where there hasn't been a whole lot of starters that have been able to stay healthy. That's really, really important.
It is. And it's also important too to have hold innings when you give up a big score, right? Like I know that Trevor Rogers, I got that right finally, right? Did I get that right? Which name did I say?
You said Trevor, didn't you?
It's Taylor. Listen, I'll get it at some point. If I say Trevor Rogers, it's Taylor Rogers. I'm done doing that. I do it to myself every single time. In fact, I should just say Rogers. I know he's not been good. I know inherited runners is a problem. I'm not trying to defend him. In fact, he's probably one of the reasons why we think we need to have all the super chats coming in on all these left-handed pitchers. But he did have a hold inning, so give him some credit. And Santillan also another awesome job, just an awesome job. And give Pagan some credit as well. So I don't want to gloss over the back end of the bullpen. We'll talk about Lyon. He's the guy that perhaps more people want to talk about. You can't walk guys. We'll get ahead. I'm just going to say that right now. You can't walk guys. I felt like Saturday night, I know I didn't do the show. Saturday night, it felt like he's trying to be too cute, man. And I'm not trying to say that it's anyone's fault but his, because it all falls on the back of Richardson. But listen, when we're calling pitches, I was getting a little frustrated with, I think Stevenson was back there. Just like the off speed. At some point when you're not able to consistently throw those pitches for strikes, we got to challenge guys. Like, I'd much rather lose a game, Nick, watching guys hit 2 piss missile doubles than to sit here and walk 2 or 3 guys in an inning and then a cheap hit or one swing of the bat, and next thing you know, it's worth 3 or 4 runs. Just throw and I know it sounds so simple, and I make it sound easier than it is, but challenge guys, man. Like, go after them. Throw fastballs in the zone. And if they hit it, they hit it. But it feels like Richardson has got himself in a spot where he's kind of trying to be perfect. And I get why. It's his first time in high leverage in his career, right? He's kind of gotten thrust into this role. Should have never been in this role. I'm sure that if Ashcraft stayed healthy, Nick, you'd like to think that he probably wouldn't be in this spot. But he is in this spot. And now it's like you gotta meet the job. Wherever you're at, you got to meet the job. If somebody says, hey, this is what you're doing, but one day they come in and they say, hey, you got to go do that, meet the job. Find a way to do it. No excuses. Find a way to do it. And I feel like he's kind of changed who he is when he's gotten this high leverage spot, and I'm a little discouraged by that. However, I also want to remind everybody that if CES catches that ball, I think the inning goes a little bit differently as well, personally. And again, the double play ball earlier in the game where CES to Elly to Steer just barely late. If CES makes a little bit better of a throw, and if Elly can make the turn maybe just a fraction quicker, that's a whole different ball game as well. So it doesn't always fall on the pitcher. You got to have good defense behind you as well. But I don't know how much longer Lyon's going to be in the spot, Nick, but I just hope he starts challenging guys. That's my main message with him.
Yeah, I didn't really get using him in the top of the 7th with Merrill, Tatis, your first two batters due up. I would have understood if Santillan was unavailable, but Santillan ended up pitching in that same inning. Felt like he was saving Santillan for the 8th inning against lesser hitters. Like, just flip-flop that around. So, yeah, I didn't really understand that. I'm glad they were able to overcome that, but that could have been the difference in the game, or at least, sort of the difference in the game. But yeah, I mean, this bullpen, I mean, they've got to get a lefty. Like, just Gavin Sheets, I would have gone with Suter, but I'm not going to sit here and be too upset about that because Suter doesn't get the swing and miss. But yeah, I mean, you got to have better options in those spots. You shouldn't have got beat by Gavin Sheets on Saturday. You could have had a potential sweep. Now, I mean, they stole a game back on Sunday, so it is what it is. But this bullpen is a ticking time bomb, and it's going to absolutely kill this team if they don't address it. And that might be the one thing you might be able to find a partner early on. I'm not going to say you can, because I don't want the Reds going out there and making stupid trades just because they want something right now and not being patient. But a reliever's an option you might be able to find something on soon. And I wonder if they will consider bringing up Sam Moll. He has pitched better of late down at AAA. There's also was a lot of times down at AAA where he wasn't necessarily pitching great. He came to the big leagues and pitched great. I just feel like there needs to be another left-handed option, especially like going into this Red Sox series. They have a lot of left-handed batters, Trace.
Well, you
go to the Phillies.
Yeah, you also factor Sam Moll, you at this point probably can't even trust that you're ever going to get him back. And I'm not saying that he can't. At some point he maybe enters the picture and you're like, well, I remember how great he was, but I'm not relying on that. So we'll see ultimately what Nick Krall and his team has up their sleeve, but they have to do something, and they're probably going to. It's just a matter of when. And the damned if you do, damned if you don't thing is that, unfortunately, fortunately and unfortunately, however you want to look at it, the way that the MLB postseason is structured now, there's just so many buyers, and there's so many teams that are just not sure. So you gotta kind of realize there's just not a whole lot of options probably out there of teams that are willing to move at this point. And if they are willing to move, it's going to have to be a really good deal, because at this point, they're probably not having the ability to leverage whatever deal you're trying to put forth with another baseball team that's also trying to get the same asset. And that's really what the trade deadline comes down to, in my opinion, is how many teams are interested in certain things, and can you sit there and play master negotiator and get as much or little as you can out of whatever deal you're trying to get. So they're going to do something. I'm telling you right now, they're going to do something. It's just a matter of when. So survive in advance until we get to a spot where, the deadline comes and we can find a way. So what do you, quick question to you. When do you think that it's realistic that opportunities are going to present themselves for a higher end closer and or reliever and or probably what I would consider an outfield bat? Like at what point in the season do these teams actually say, all right, let's do this? Most of them.
I mean, July 30th. I mean, like if you're, everyone's talking about Aroldis Chapman, and yeah, I mean, it sounds like great, but the Boston Red Sox have still said they're planning on being buyers, so you can't typically buy from a team that's also saying they're going to be buyers.
Yeah, exactly.
But they might, but let's just say they are sellers. Like, if you're the Boston Red Sox, you're going to want to hold on to Aroldis Chapman as long as possible and get as many bidders in as you can. There's a reason that teams wait until 3:45, or actually 6 o'clock this year, till 5:30 to trade these guys a lot of times, because they want to get the absolute best value. And it also will fluctuate year to year. Sometimes teams, it's where the market goes, but you might be able to find a perfect deal. And maybe in the Reds case, deals that I love is major leaguer for major leaguer. Maybe the major leaguer for major leaguers, maybe the one trade that you could realistically do earlier, because it's both teams finding something that works for them. But yeah, I mean, like when the Reds were sellers, they waited for Luis Castillo up until a few days before the trade deadline. Tyler Mahle, I believe, was on the day of the trade deadline. Like, that's what you do. You wait till the end because you want to get as many bids as you can.
Yeah. All right, folks. Any other food for thought before we jump into the Reds MILB? I'll tell you this. I was planning on going to a Lookouts game, and I unfortunately was going to be there yesterday on my way back home, and they got rained out. So, what a shame. Great lineup, too, by the way. I was fired up. Jay Allen, I believe, was leading off. Noelvi, Marte sitting in the 2-hole. Cam Collier in the 3-hole. Sal Stewart in the 4-hole. I was ready to play. I was ready to go. And there you go.
That's a bummer, too. It's last year in that field, too.
Well, I didn't know that. But
last chance to see AT&T Ballpark or Field or whatever it's called.
Yeah. Well, what a shame. Maybe I'll go down there later in the year. Some playoff baseball down in Chattanooga.
I heard they're going to be there.
That's right. All right. Nick,
your Reds MILB is just a scoreboard.
Take it away.
It's not even like your Reds MILB tonight is just a scoreboard. This is the podcast tomorrow. But Louisville, they won 8-3. Good start from Brian Van Bell. I did see that. That's really encouraging. Hopefully going to provide some depth for the Reds. Chattanooga, they split a doubleheader with Pensacola. One of them was actually a suspended game. Dayton fell to Lansing 6-1, and Daytona, they beat Palm Beach 10-3. So more coming on the pod tomorrow.
That's right. As a reminder, if you haven't already, you can download that podcast and or listen to it on any of the platforms. Pretty much all of them. Spotify, Google, Apple. There's like 40 of them. And whichever one you are on, I can promise you there's a good chance you can find Chatterbox Reds on it. And as I've said thousands of times on this show, it is different than this show. It has some pieces from this show, yes, but there are a lot of different nuggets that get thrown into that show that I think you would appreciate. So please, if you haven't already, leave us a review on there and or listen, download the podcast daily, and we would very much appreciate it. If you haven't already, please like the stream. I know it's like petty, seems stupid. I don't mean to sit here and beg for likes, but if you haven't, please like the show. Very much appreciated. We will be here, as always, after each and every single game. I want to say thank you again to everybody that helped me out as well while I was gone, filling the airwaves of my absence. So shout out to Craig. I know the Phillips brothers and Hart on the weekends are doing a great job. So thank you to all of them and all the folks that obviously doing the pregame show. So thank you to them as well. So anything else that I've missed that you need to get to before we jump into the who, what, when, where, and why?
No, just do that. Maybe you'll have some thoughts about the Red Sox after I kind of run through some notes. Got a few notes here. Fun series here against the Red Sox. This will be the Reds playing at Fenway Park for the third time in 4 years. Our Reds had only played at Fenway twice in the regular season prior, 2014 and 2005. So kind of the way the scheduling's worked out, Reds have been there. If you've never been to Fenway Park, it is electric. It's also people in the chat that are going to be there. Get there as early as you can and just walk around that whole area, because you could spend hours just kind of walking around the area around the ballpark. It's unlike anything else. So Reds 6-17 all time against the Red Sox. However, Reds are 5-5 since 2022 against the Red Sox and 3-1 in their last 4 games at Fenway. This is the 50th anniversary, of course, of the 1975 World Series. So kind of a cool time to get to play at Fenway. Red Sox come in 41-44, 8 games back in the AL East, but they're only 3 games out of the AL wild card. A good year to be in the American League. They said they're going to be buyers till the deadline. We'll see kind of when push comes to shove. But they're not playing good baseball right now. 1-7 in their last 8 games. They've lost 3 straight series. They, of course, traded Rafael Devers to the Giants, a lot of drama with that and their GM Craig Breslow, and now that all was handled. Dealing with a ton of injuries as well. They have a top 10 offense, but that was with Devers. That was also with Alex Bregman, who will not be in this series. So definitely seeing the Red Sox offense at the right time. Red Sox are, however, 23-19 at home, so they played much better at Fenway. And they are 9-19 in one-run games. I always hate seeing a team with that kind of numbers. Reds, they're going to play some good pitchers, which is why I think that series win against the Padres was so important. Reds are going to face Garrett Crochet on Monday. The lefty 7-4, 2.06 ERA. Tuesday, a little bit better matchup. Richard Fitz, he's 0-3 with a 4.68 ERA. But then Wednesday, Brian Bello, really good young pitcher for the Red Sox. Reds are going to go with Chase Burns, start number 2 at Fenway. Brady Singer on Tuesday. Haven't officially announced Wednesday, but likely Nick Martinez. And then just a couple notes here on Garrett Crochet. Last 3 starts, a 0.84 ERA. Currently the second best betting odds for the AL Cy Young. But Trace, Reds put up 5 earned runs against Crochet last April when he was still with the White Sox. So maybe a little bit more magic there. But a fun series. I love these series. It just like gets some extra, juice in the middle of a season. Playing at Fenway is just awesome. I'm really excited for this series.
Yeah, the sights when you turn the TV on to see the game at Fenway, it's cool. It genuinely is cool. You don't ever, you just, in my Reds fandom, how many times have you got to see the Reds play at Fenway Park? Not much. Last time, obviously, shout out to Jose Barrero. I know he's kind of bouncing around the league here, but, Barrero, I'll never forget when he sent that moonshot over the Sitco sign or wherever that is out there in left field over the Green Monster. Crochet is going to be a problem, though, so it is what it is. I'm not going to sit here and act like the game's already lost, but it's going to be a problem. Okay, this guy's good, and the fact of the matter is that he's 97. I'm just looking at his Savant page, and it's redder than it's so red. You've never seen something so red. So I'm just going to sit here and downplay it.
I love Chase Burns going against him, though. You know what? Hey, at least you got your wild card that could absolutely shut them down. I'm not expecting it, but if Chase Burns went out and dominated the Red Sox, a team that's offense is struggling right now, wouldn't shock me.
Listen, I am so thankful that Chase Burns got an opportunity to pitch in the big leagues because if nothing else, just the idea of kind of ripping the Band-Aid off a little bit for some of these guys that you feel like they're already good enough to be here, just give them a chance, man. If they struggle, they struggle. So what? You go back to the drawing board. But the idea of even going into later in this season with more meaningful games, let's face it, the closer we get down to the end, you can say whatever you want, but these guys are human. There's going to be more and more pressure here, okay? The games are going to be more and more of a higher magnitude. I don't want to throw Chase Burns if you have to use him. I'm not trying to throw him in there in the last month of the season. We've done that before with another younger kid, if you remember. And I'm not saying it torched him. It had ended his career by any stretch of the imagination. That might have been you, by the way. That was a joke, of course. If you know, you know, but whatever. But my point in saying that is that he might be an asset. He might be a guy that, you look back at the season and you say, hey, we won 3 more games because we had Chase Burns pitching. And I'm not trying to keep beating this dead horse, but Wade Miley wasn't. That's possible. There's a chance that you could make the case that the Reds do find a way to win 2 or maybe 3 at the most, to be fair, games because Chase Burns just shoved. And boy, did he not come out and at least showcase the ceiling. Was there some glimpses of, all right, he got touched up a little bit? Yeah, maybe so. I get that the moon ball went damn near almost out of the stadium, but it is what it is. So Crochet is going to be a problem. I'm not expecting anything. I fully expect us to get shut out. No chance we score a run. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing here. His baseball savant can't get any better. So,
are you trying to tell me that you'd rather see Chase Burns against Garrett Crochet than Wade Miley against Garrett Crochet tomorrow?
Yeah,
what you trying to tell me?
Well, I am. Yeah, I am. Yeah, very much so. Now, listen, I don't want to sit here and dance on anybody's grave or anything like that. So, I'm trying to be respectful for Wade Miley. He had a hell of a career. I get he was trying to help us. He came out. He did a couple. He had a couple outings that were serviceable. So, shout out to him. But boy, Garrett Crochet, what a problem. Also, by the way, 2 Tennessee boys facing off against each other. I do know that Chase Burns went to Wake Forest. But he started his career out at Tennessee. So, just a little
Big J.
A little nugget of information. That's all I got for you, though. As far as everything else, I know it's time. We got the ritual. In fact, maybe for the for the Boston series, and Nicolas Cage pillow can come out for that series and that series only, because that's where it did originate, Nick. Just saying. But I just want to say, we've had like 2,500 people come in and out of the show already. We have close to 500 folks watching.
Still?
So much chat. Like, it's not even about the money, but like $260 in super chats tonight is crazy, dude. 262 likes. A lot of people in the chat just being nice. We put a lot of time into this, man. And you do get worried when the baseball team doesn't look like they're going to be able to play well. And I forgot how great it feels when this baseball team is good. Like, I just forgot. And, man, this week has been a blessing. What a blessing. I mean, the Cincinnati Reds being good at baseball, I've said this once, I'll say it 1,000 times. There is nothing better in the city, man. Maybe I'm biased. I get it. But the vibe, we're not arguing over quadruple A players right now. We're not arguing over, guys that got 75 WRC pluses. We're not doing that right now. We're just living our lives, enjoying our lives, watching this baseball team. And I don't know how long it's going to last, but by God, let's enjoy it. So, without further ado, I don't know if this is all going to work. It's been so long, but we'll give it a shot. Some would say you need to be an athlete, and I'm going to try to be one. But if you haven't already, like the stream. Much love to everybody. We'll see you better than ever tomorrow.